The miracles of the messengers, peace be upon them. Learning objectives. Allah the Almighty supported His honorable messengers, peace be upon them, with everything that can support and validate the truth of their message, and with everything that shall be an evidence against their people on the day of judgment, if they deny the words of the messengers. This support happens through what is called a miracle. A miracle is evidence that Allah Almighty provides the messengers with. Its purpose is to prove the truth of their message and to challenge the disbelievers. No creatures can create a miracle on their own. Every messenger was sent to his people with a miracle from Allah Almighty. Each miracle was specifically created to be something that the disbelievers had knowledge about or were experts in. This would provide further evidence that the miracle came from Allah and that the messenger is telling the truth. Let's go over some examples. Let's start with the miracle of Salih, peace be upon him. He is the honorable messenger that Allah Almighty chose to send to the tribe of Thamud in order to spread the message of worshiping Allah alone and to reject the worship of idols. Allah the Almighty said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and to the people of Thamud, we sent their brother Salih. He said, O my people, worship Allah, you have no other God except Him. But the people of Thamud did not believe in Allah the Almighty, and they demanded Salih, peace be upon him, to come with a miracle to prove his honesty. So Allah brought out a special she-camel from a mountain. Everyone drank from its milk. The reason why it appeared to them from the rock is because they were skilled in carving homes in mountains as they were very strong. That's why the miracle Allah Almighty challenged them with was a great she-camel coming out of the rock. Salih, peace be upon him, chose one day for it to drink water from the well, and another day for the people of Thamud to drink from the well, because the she-camel was big and special. Salih, peace be upon him, warned them from hurting the camel. The disbelievers of Thamud did not heed the warning, and they killed the she-camel, disobeying Messenger Salih, peace be upon him. They were stubborn and insisted on disobeying their messenger, and thus Allah Almighty destroyed them, and He saved Salih, peace be upon him, and the believers from Thamud. The Holy Quran narrates this honorable story in more than a verse, including the verses of Surah Hud. Allah Almighty said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and O my people, the she-camel of Allah is a sign for you, so leave her to graze freely on Allah's earth, and do not harm her, or a swift punishment will overtake you. But they killed her, so He warned them, you have only 3 more days to enjoy life in your homes. This is an unfailing promise. When our command came, we saved Salih and those who believed with him by a mercy from us, and spared them the disgrace of that day. Surely your Lord alone is all-powerful, almighty. Now let's discuss how Allah's miracles supported Musa, peace be upon him, to face Pharaoh and his magicians. One of the rulers of ancient Egypt was called Pharaoh, and he claimed to be a god. He said, I am your Lord, the Most High. Allah forbid. He had followers, soldiers, and magicians who obeyed him in everything. Pharaoh was known for torturing a specific group of Egypt's inhabitants, the Israelis. So Allah the Almighty sent Musa, peace be upon him, to the Pharaoh for 2 reasons. The first reason is to invite the Pharaoh and his people to worship Allah Almighty and to abandon worshiping himself or the idols. The second reason is to allow the Israelis to get out of Egypt with the Prophet Musa, peace be upon him. Pharaoh refused and said that there is no God but him. Allah forbid. Then Allah Almighty supported Musa, peace be upon him, with miracles that challenged the magicians of the Pharaoh to prove that Allah is truly the one and only, and the Creator who sent Musa with a truthful message. One of the miracles was the staff which Musa, peace be upon him, leaned on to turn it into an invisible snake. The snake ate all the other fake snakes which the magicians made out of a rope to deceive the eyes of the people. When this happened, the magicians believed in Allah Almighty and disbelieved in Pharaoh. Another miracle of Musa, peace be upon him, is his hand turning white. This messenger's original skin color is not white, but it became that way after he tucked it under his elbow. This was a miracle that no human can do on their own. The Holy Quran narrated the miracles of Musa, peace be upon him. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So Musa threw down his staff, and behold, it became a real snake. Then he drew his hand out of his collar, and it was shining white for all to see. The Holy Quran also narrated other miracles related to the staff that Musa, peace be upon him, leaned upon. Pharaoh and most of his followers denied the message of Musa, peace be upon him, and insisted that he is a god, Allah forbid, and that there is no god but him in spite of the miracles Allah Almighty provided. Allah Almighty ordered Musa, peace be upon him, to take the Israelis with him out of Egypt. Pharaoh and his soldiers followed Musa, peace be upon him, and the Israelis until they reached the sea. Allah Almighty ordered Musa, peace be upon him, to strike the sea with his staff, and it was split into two parts with a pathway of land in the middle. Musa and his believers walked on it, and they survived. Then when the Pharaoh followed the same road, Allah the Almighty destroyed him and his followers of disbelievers by having the water collapse again and drown them. The Holy Quran narrated the story of the sea being split and the doom of Pharaoh after being stubborn and arrogant. Allah the Almighty said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So we inspired Musa, strike the sea with your staff, and the sea was split. Each part was like a huge mountain. We drew the pursuers to that place, and delivered Musa and those with him all together. Then we drowned the others. Now let's talk about some of the miracles Allah Almighty supported Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, with. Allah the Almighty supported Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, with many miracles, the greatest of which was the Holy Quran. In the Quran, Allah challenged the Arabs, the people of eloquence and rhetoric, who love poetry, to produce only one verse similar to the verses of the Quran. They failed to do so, of course. This made the Holy Quran solid proof of the honesty of the Prophet Muhammad, the last of prophets and messengers. Allah the Almighty said in the Holy Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and if you are in doubt about what we have revealed to our servant, then produce a surah like it, and call your helpers other than Allah, if what you say is true. But if you are unable to do so, and you will never be able to do so, then fear the fire fueled with people and stones, which is prepared for the disbelievers. Mankind will remain unable to produce an equivalent to the Holy Quran until the Day of Judgment. Now it is your turn to recite the Quran and find the miracles of Messenger Ibrahim and Messenger Isa, peace be upon them. Are you ready? Great! Let's summarize what we learned today. Miracle is something Allah the Almighty supports the messengers, peace be upon them, with, to be evidence to their people of the truth of their message. We have also learned the miracles of some of the honorable messengers. One example was Saleh, peace be upon him, whose miracle was the she-camel. Finally, we learned that the greatest miracle of Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the Holy Quran, with which Allah the Almighty challenged the Arabs, who were skilled in poetry, to produce only one verse like a verse from the Quran, and they failed to do so.